Welcome to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe, listen, and enjoy my daily stories. The afternoon sun angled sharply through the blinds, casting striped shadows across the living room, where I sat sorting through the day's mail, bills, a magazine, and then an unexpected package. Sleek, mysterious, and bearing Valerie's name written in an elegant, unfamiliar script. Curiosity tugged at me, but suspicion moved my hands carefully. I peeled the tape away, the sound breaking the silence like a shout. Inside, I found a dress, stunning, clearly expensive, and the type Valerie wore for special events that made her eyes light up and her laughter flow more freely. Next it was a note, hastily written yet intimate. "Asses for you, my love. Waiting for you tonight at the last night restaurant. J." The signature was only an initial, J, but it felt like a scarlet flag waving right in my face. Stunned, I sank into the couch, the note crumpling beneath my tightening fist. My mind churned, thoughts spinning in a whirlpool of betrayal that anchored in the ugliest of truths. J. Jeremy. Her boss. The signs had been there all along, murmured phone calls, late nights at work, and now this. Anger hardened into determination. I needed proof, concrete evidence. Grabbing my keys, I drove to her office. The receptionist greeted me with a polite smile that wavered as she glanced at the clock. "She left about an hour ago," she said, unaware of the tension gnawing at my gut. "Thanks," I muttered, barely polite, and left. The drive to the last night restaurant blurred past in a chaotic rush of red lights and honking cars. My thoughts raced faster than the traffic. I arrived just in time to see them, Valerie and Jeremy, walking in together, laughing as if they didn't have a care in the world. The sight tightened my resolve. I couldn't confront them openly. I needed a plan that would strike where it hurt the most. I turned back to my car. Plotting, there were people to call and favors to leverage. Valerie's professional life was intertwined with Jeremy's, and if I could unravel their careers, their personal betrayal would crumble alongside it. As I started the car, a cold, determined smile stretched across my face. This was just the beginning. Valerie and Jeremy were about to learn that betrayal comes at a steep price, and I intended to make them pay. I watched them disappear into the restaurant as the pieces of the plan clicked into place with chilling precision. Confrontation now would be impulsive, reckless. Instead, I withdrew to shadows and dialed the first number that came to mind. "Mark, it's Alex," I said when he picked up. Mark was an old college friend who had carved a career out of private investigation. "I need a favor. Can you follow someone tonight?" He didn't hesitate. "I'm on it. Send me the details." I texted him Valerie and Jeremy's descriptions along with the location, then parked a block away, waiting for my chance to set the wheels in motion. I kept my eyes locked on the glowing neon sign of the restaurant, my mind churning with the implications of what was unfolding. Moments later, my phone buzzed. A message from Mark confirmed he was in place. The wait wasn't long. Within the hour, Valerie and Jeremy stepped out, their laughter ringing across the quiet street as they said their goodbyes. Jeremy held her hand just a moment too long, a silent confession of their secret. Mark's next text came quickly, confirming he had everything on camera. I immediately called a contact at Jeremy's company. "Hey, Dan, it's Alex. I've got something you need to see. This is about Jeremy. Can we meet tomorrow at my office?" Dan's tone was cautious but intrigued. "All right, I'll be there." That night, I spread out the photos Mark had sent, clear shots of Valerie and Jeremy, their closeness unmistakable. The path ahead crystallized before me. The next morning, I was at Dan's office, a towering high-rise overlooking the city. He led me inside, closing the door with a serious expression. "Show me," he said. Without preamble, I handed him the photographs and watched his face darken as he scanned each one. "This is bad, Alex. Really bad." "I know," I said, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside me. "What happens next is up to you, but consider the company. Can it withstand this kind of scandal?" Dan pressed his fingers to his temples, considering his options. "I'll take it from here. Jeremy won't see this coming." As I walked out of his office, a mix of satisfaction and hollowness settled in me. This was only the beginning. Retribution was in motion, but its true cost was still unknown. I had to prepare for the aftermath, for when Valerie and Jeremy would trace this upheaval back to me. For now, I drove home, the city outside oblivious to the storm gathering beneath its surface. The following morning, heavy gray clouds mirrored the unrest in my heart. I had set this chain reaction in motion, and the weight of the consequences pressed on me. As I poured my coffee, my phone rang. It was Dan. Alex, Jeremy's been suspended pending an investigation. The board's taken this very seriously, and legal action's on the table if the evidence holds up, Dan said, his voice clipped and formal. I nodded even though he couldn't see me. And Valerie? I asked. She's being questioned today. Depending on what comes out, it could get complicated for her, too. I hung up, knowing I had to witness the fallout firsthand. Driving to their office, I parked across the street. The building looked unchanged, but the tension was palpable. Hushed conversations, sideways glances. Valerie arrived, her face pale, her steps hesitant. She disappeared through the glass doors. Moments later, a text from Mark came through. Inside now. Security's tight today. Something big is happening. Updates trickled in, painting a picture of chaos inside, Valerie being questioned. Colleagues keeping their distance. Hours later, she emerged, her composure shattered, shoulders slumped under the weight of what had just happened. Before doubt could creep in, I stepped out of my car. Valerie, I called. She spun around, her eyes widening when she saw me. Alex, what are you doing here? We need to talk, I said firmly, guiding her to a nearby cafe. A neutral ground amidst the upheaval. As we sat, her mask crumbled. Alex, I don't understand what's going on. They're accusing me of things, of being involved with Jeremy beyond work. Her voice broke, and she turned away. I swallowed back my pity. Why, Valerie? Why lie to me? Tears welled up, and her voice trembled. It was a mistake. I was going to end it. I swear, she whispered, eyes swollen with regret. But someone sent those pictures to Dan. I kept my expression neutral, though my heart hammered in my chest. Maybe it's time you decide what you really want, Valerie. This isn't just about an affair. It's about trust, about everything we built. She nodded shakily, wiping her tears away, her face a mixture of fear and regret. I need to fix this, Alex. For us, if it's not too late. I stood, the clarity of my decision steadying my mind. I think it's too late, Valerie. I'll have the divorce papers sent over. Leaving her there, broken and alone, felt like a betrayal of my own. Yet, it was her actions that had brought us here. As I walked away, the cold air stung my skin, a sharp reminder of the isolation that lay ahead. My phone buzzed persistently, but I ignored it, keeping my focus on the road. The fallout was far, far from over. The storm I had unleashed was carving through our lives, leaving nothing untouched. The city seemed to hold its breath as I navigated the dimly lit streets, the dark sky a backdrop for the final chapter of the saga. The chaos of the past few days had led to this moment. My car rolled to stop outside an old, abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town. The place was decrepit, its cracked walls whispering of lost industries and forgotten times. This was where I would confront Jeremy, where this entire charade would come to an end. Inside, my footsteps echoed in the vast, empty space, each sound sharp against the concrete. From the shadows, Jeremy's silhouette emerged at the entrance, his steps cautious. Alex, what is this? His voice wavered between defiance and fear. Justice. I replied, stepping into the weak light, the steel pipe in my hand catching the faint glimmer of moonlight through shattered windows. Jeremy stopped short, eyes darting from the pipe to my face. You think you can scare me? What do you want? I want you to feel what I felt, to understand the pain you caused, I said, my tone eerily calm as I advanced. He backed up until he hit a rusted metal column. It's over, Alex. Valerie's leaving you. She loves me, he said, desperation seeping into his voice. You're wrong, Jeremy. It was all a lie, I said, closing the distance between us. My words cut through the air like a blade. What are you talking about? His voice cracked with doubt. I threw a stack of photos at his feet, not just of him and Valerie, but of other women, each meticulously documented. She never loved you. She used you just as she used me. We were both pawns in her game. Jeremy's face went pale as he scanned the photos, eyes wide with disbelief. No, that's not possible. Deny it all you want, but I know the truth now, and so will you. My grip tightened on the pipe, and before he could react, I swung it hard, hitting his knee. He crumpled to the floor with a shout of pain, betrayal etched into every line of his face. You thought you were the only one who could play this game, I hissed, leaning down as he writhed on the ground. Valerie manipulated both of us, but I'm the one walking away. I turned and left him there, a broken figure amid the echoes of our ruined lives. The night air felt sharp, as if trying to cleanse the bitter remnants of everything that had transpired. As I drove away, the weight of the past days slowly lifted. Valerie's betrayal and Jeremy's deception were now behind me. I was alone, truly alone, but for the first time I was free. The city lights blurred by, each one a marker to a future unbound by lies, where trust was no longer a gamble I was willing to take. The game of deceit was over, the players scattered. But deep within, I knew the cost had been higher than I ever wanted to pay again.